I wonder if I should try the laugh. I don't know if I can do Roseanne's laugh, though. That's... It's really more of a witch's cackle, if we're going to be real about it. Hey everybody, JK Calloway here at Real JK Calloway, coming at you with the results for this week's hashtag skirmish game. And this week we played hashtag Things Roseanne Taught Me. Of course, I was referring to the show, but oh, so many of you decided to just... she supports Trump, she's evil! Despite some of the political stuff that came up, or maybe because of some of the political stuff that came up, obviously, we did trend for a little bit at number 5 in the US, so thank you everyone for playing along. Lots of really funny responses, having to do more so with the show, and, you know, it's got a reboot coming, so make sure you tune in. It's actually this Tuesday on ABC. I don't remember which time. I'll find a graphic and put it up. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun, because if there's one thing the Roseanne show never shied away from, it was, you know, hot button topics. And we've got a few going on these days. Should be fun. And of course, before we get into it, hit that subscribe button for me. We're up over 460. I'm like almost a real boy now. I'm almost a real boy! Make sure you hit that for me. Lots of fun content coming. I'm actually going to get around to making a welcome video. I know most channels have like a welcome video to give you an idea of what's on the channel, so I just got to get my lazy ass around to recording that and editing it and posting it. I like sitting around. It's my jam. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into it. Our top 10 for this week's hashtag skirmish game. Hashtag Things Roseanne Taught Me. Number 10 comes from @IamLisa_615. How to use cornflakes in meatloaf. I've never made a meatloaf, and nor has my wife. We're not meatloaf people, but growing up, that was a 2 or 3 time a week situation right there. You know, we were middle class, maybe lower middle class looking back, but I think middle class for the most part. And you use cornflakes to make meatloaf. It has the crunchy top. It was delicious. Number 9 comes from @BananaFanafoffic, that it's perfectly okay to call your kid a butthead as long as you follow it with an I love you after. Yeah, I got called a lot worse. When I was a kid, I was a dumb kid. I would always do stupid stuff, so my parents had to be pretty stern on occasion. But never once, even if they were like berating me or calling me names or just, you know, reacting to my stupidity, did I ever think for a moment that they didn't love me. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, this was the first show that really showed that. So, you can hate her all you want. It's a great show. Suck it. Number 8 comes from @SeanKeefe74. You can replace your daughter and no one minds. This was a common tweet sent out. I think Sean did it first, though, so, She went to college. The actress went to college, so they recast her. Should they have killed her off? And also, look who they replaced her with. Sarah Chalk is awesome. And she became a doctor. Number 7 comes from TheJML9999. Mail your gas payment to the phone company and your phone payment to the gas company to buy yourself time. I don't know if when growing up, my folks were ever in that dire of straits that they had to do some creative mailing. But yeah, it's a really funny scene. And, again, I don't know if we did it, but I'd try it just to see what happens. Number 6 comes from @AshleyBree35. Dysfunctional families, like many of us have, are normal. Yeah, very true. Like, my family is actually pretty, like, boring in the sense of dysfunction or even, like, extended, you know what I mean? Like, there's not that much divorce on my side of the family, and as far as I know, no one's insane. We pretend good, but I think we're all pretty cool. My wife's family, on the other hand, I love my family. I have the best in-law family. It's one of those families where, like, divorce is inevitable, so of course they're all really Christian. Because hypocrisy. Number 5 comes from Jennifer M. Bass. Old pot is still good pot. It's been a long time since I've partaken in such things, but yeah, I gotta think that stuff holds up okay. Especially if it's been a while. Like, you could probably give me 20-year-old pot right now and I would be flying. But if you're a regular smoker, I'm sure there's like, oh, this tastes different. Shut up. Number 4 comes from this kid from Mars. That women rule. Yeah, was there any show before that was so progressive, honestly, especially as far as toward femininity and feminism, for that matter? I don't think there was. Like, I think that's why it was such a big, like, culture swing for that show at the time, especially late 80s, early 90s. Like, come on. Number 3 comes from Lila Gemonique. To love the way I laugh and don't give 2 fucks about who thinks it's annoying. Yeah, that's my mom. Like, very, very boisterous laugh. I actually remember we were at a theater or something, like when I was a kid, or we went to see a movie. I don't remember what it was, but I remember she was laughing so heartily and out there. She's always had this just big old awesome laugh. And I remember whoever was sitting in front of us like gave us this weird look after a couple of minutes of my mom laughing, and actually got up and moved to another seat. I think I was 13 at the time, so of course I was a little douche, and I was like horrified, and I wanted to like apologize. Really, I'm sorry, my mom just laughs really loud. So now it's like the greatest thing in the history of ever. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, fuck yeah. Don't dare give 2 shits about what people think of you. You know what I mean? Especially if you're showing joy. You know, if you're like a prick, then yeah, maybe tamper that a little bit. But if you're just laughing big, like Roseanne, like my mom, that's awesome. Number 2 comes from I Block Perverts. That was just weird, sorry. That I'm not the only one who yells across the house and through floors and ceilings to communicate with the rest of my family. It's just efficient. What am I supposed to do? Walk to someone to get their attention? In fact, we can try this out right now. If you're wearing headphones. Thomas! Thomas, come here! Thomas! Thomas! How's it going?
Good.
You heard me? How's it going?
Good.
So you heard me?
Yeah.
So if I, like, scream as loud as I can, you'll hear me through the walls and stuff?
Yeah.
Perfect. He doesn't want to leave now, so you get to see some jumps.
I landed on my head.
You did land on your head. Now, before we get to our number 1, here are a few honorable mentions, including one from the host, at RealJK Calloway. One from me. I've had 3 examples of how to be a great dad and a good man. My dad, my grandpa, and Dan Connor. Who didn't want to be Dan's kid? Like, especially like in the 80s and early 90s, it was more or less Cosby and Dan Connor as far as like, who do you want your dad to be on TV? And Dan still holds up. If you thought Dan Connor was cool and a good role model and shit, you should meet my dad. Like, if I turn out to be half the dad my dad is, I'll be a good dad. You know what I mean? He's a good man. He voted for Trump, but he's still a damn good man. And I think that's the exciting thing about this reboot, too, is because both the Roseanne and Dan are going to be Trump supporters. And it kind of shows that they're not all pricks. Not all Trump supporters are exclusively on Twitter. One from Cheryl T. 2000. A job is a job. Don't let it dictate your life. Yeah, that gets hard sometimes, doesn't it? Like most jobs out there, especially if it's a job that will pay your bills and take care of your family and stuff, you almost have to live it. You know what I mean? It really sucks. But you have to dive head first in and be a company guy and all that crap. It's really annoying, but, you know, as long as you have a good attitude about it and are able to, you know, turn it off when you get home, it's one of those things you have to practice, not letting it dictate. It's a bitch. He's a bitch. One from my lovely @_SPRF. The best things happen at the table. Yep, I distinctly remember every night. We had dinner at the table as a family, talked about our days. I also remember not being able to leave the table until my plate was clear. So many nights I slept at the table as a kid because I was a little dick. But yeah, looking back, those were really important and really the only time with how busy both of my parents were. And then, of course, as me and my brother got into stuff, how busy we were. Every night we came together at the end of the night and ate dinner together, talked about our days, and yeah, like they were great. I miss them. One from @Betty Bowers. Not everyone in Hollywood is against having a white supremacist, kleptomaniac, fascist traitor in the White House. I feel like this one's not about the show. And there were plenty like this. I think this was the most high-profile person who played along, who, wanted to make a political statement, which, it's fine. I'm not going to tell you how to play your own games there. Leave that to the indie guys. But yeah, I get it. Some people aren't able to, I guess, separate what one person does in their personal life or says, because honestly, it's just words that she says, and what they do for a living. I get that. I'm not a huge fan of Roseanne's politics in any way, but I'm going to watch the crap out of the show because it's one of my favorite shows of all time, and it will not shy away from talking about this particular subject. You know what I mean? I don't think it'll dive headfirst into her personal views, but I think it will dive into, some of the reasons why some of the people we loved voted for Trump and why some of the people we loved voted for Hillary. It's going to dive into that hard. They're not going to shy away from that stuff. They never did. They're still not going to. And I'm excited to see the conversations they start. I'm excited, man. And one from Fee Booths. Okay, this just made my day. Yeah, who knew Tom Arnold would turn out to be pretty smart? Like, if you follow his Twitter, he will tear a bitch down. You try to troll him. It's really funny and clever and delightful. It's great. And he's super funny. So I'm glad things worked out for him. That show he had for half a season, though, I don't even remember what it was called. Wasn't good. And our number one from this week's hashtag skirmish game comes from @CMoog57. You cannot like Roseanne Barr, but love the show she writes and produces. Some things we can forgive as long as someone's dishonest about it. You know what I mean? Like, for example, Kevin Spacey. Like, who didn't love House of Cards, right? Awesome show, great cast, great storytelling, writing was outstanding. We all knew the rumors of what kind of prick he was to people and some of the shady shit, but he lied about it. He said, that's not true. And we're like, oh, cool, Then it's fine. I mean, there's a lot of evidence to the contrary. But he said it's cool, so it's totally cool. Meanwhile, someone like Roseanne, who's been ridiculously upfront about what she thinks, often to her detriment, which honestly I kind of look up to. I mean, I wish there were some things I was just blatantly truthful about like that. There are some things I'm just not. Because she came out and was like, here's the reasons I don't like Hillary. Here's the reasons I'm going to support Trump. Bear in mind, she wants Pence to die in a fire. So, she said many times, this Trump thing better work out, because if Pence gets elected, we're fucked. And she's upfront about it. So, now, okay, she's upfront about it, so she's just giving her opinion. Oh, she's the devil. We're not going to watch that piece of shit show. She's the worst. We're going to boycott Roseanne. Hashtag boycott Roseanne. Blah. I'm not defending her views. I don't agree with many of them. But I'm excited as shit for her show. And if you're not, but you liked the original run, you enjoyed it, and now you're going to be a little dick about it because she voted for someone different than you did, you're too far. You're Alex Jones levels too far. You're stupid. Bring it in. Bring it in just a little bit. And there it is, my friends, our top 10 for this week's hashtag skirmish game. Hashtag things Roseanne taught me. Thank you everyone for playing along. Really funny seeing your responses and reminiscing about the old show and looking forward to the new one. I'm excited about it. Make sure you tune into it on Tuesday. It's on ABC. It's going to be awesome. Also, another thing to do, make sure you download the hashtag Roundup app. We play Skirmish on there every single Friday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, and they promote all the best weekly hashtag games, not just mine. I'm the best one. My name is J.K. Calloway, and we'll talk to you next time.